are recording the video. And let's close that. And I'm going to start Audacity. It's the Mike Tech Show, show number 784. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Mike Smith. Thank you very much for downloading and subscribing to the show. Please visit the main website at miketechshow.com. You can email me questions and suggestions for show topics at miketechshow@gmail.com. You can leave me a voicemail message on Skype. The name is Mike Tech Show, all one word. Follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Mike Tech Show, and also Facebook, facebook.com/Mike Tech Show. So Twitter and Facebook. This show is brought to you by Instant House Call. Remotely support your customers. This is for IT pros and MSPs. You can provide unattended and on-demand remote access. Try it free by clicking on the link on my website at miketechshow.com. Use the promo code Mike Tech Show for your free 15-day trial, or you can go directly to instanthouseCall.com. There's a new client version, 6.6. Anybody using Instant House Call, it really speeds things up. I have had positive feedback from clients with sub-accounts, and they're noticing the speed difference, because that's always an issue with remote control, and I don't care what program you use. If someone's on Wi-Fi at the other end and you're trying to remote in, an Instant House Call right there made some great improvements and very, very nice, and you got to check it out. Tonight's show, I have a lot to cover. I am going to talk about my website being infected and how I cleaned it and what did I use to clean it. I'm going to talk about OneDrive icons real quick, and then we're going to get to email. I also have some stories from the trenches, things I'm working on. I'm going to talk about Norton antivirus, and we have a great review of Asus ZenWiFi by John Dubinsky, who wrote in a great review that I am going to read. So I want to thank user Michael a couple days ago. Actually, I think it was late Tuesday night, who notified me doing a search for Mike Nation in Google redirected you to a bad site. And I've had this happen once before. So I have the add-in, the Anti-Malware plugin for WordPress called gotmls.net, gotmls.net. This is a donationware plugin. You make a donation so you can get the updates, run this, do a full scan on your website. It will remove the infections. This thing has worked perfectly in the past for a customer that had a problem. I had them do it. I've had some listeners that had websites where WordPress was hacked or there was an issue. So this did clean up MikeNation.net. Very, very happy. And thank you, Michael, for letting me know. If you ever see anything, please let me know. If there's a problem with the audio, the video, a problem with the YouTube site, whatever it is, if there's an issue, let me know so I can work on it, because that's the only way I'm going to find out sometimes. Now, a couple other things. The video settings and the size and the quality now is going to match the videos I posted in Florida. I can't believe, after some of the problems last week, I remoted into my system in Florida, and side by side had OBS up, and I made sure the settings are the same. So now the video is going to be saved at the proper rate and the right size, because the size of last week's video, and it took forever for YouTube to process it. It was over 9 gig for a half hour. That's insane. So I finally got everything set right. The audio. When I was listening to the audio for a sample for the straight audio that I just post for the audio portion of the podcast, it was horrible compared to Florida. And then I realized my the audio, when I run a phonic leveler, I had the bit rate set too low here in Pennsylvania, and I've been using that for a long time. So I raised the bit rate to 320, and boy, what a difference. So that's going to be set now for tonight. So things are finally settling in and looking okay for doing the podcast. I still have to get a third monitor, so I have the room because I have so much going on here. So some things for the trenches here, some stories. I got a big project this Saturday. My son and I are going to be all day in northern Jersey, where we're downgrading one of those servers to a peer system, and we have a bunch of workstations to work on. I have the Monday and Tuesday another migration. I got an email last night, had to order 2 more computers for a financial advisor client. They're starting to get back into the office. So we're seeing a big uptick on new systems as clients go back post-pandemic here, I should say. I mean, I know we're still sort of in it, but things are, certainly looking better and getting better. So a lot of people are heading back to their offices. And I'm noticing something. They're still going to keep the remote access because the employees want to work a couple days from home. The employer, of course, wants them there all the time. So I'm starting to see 1 day, 2 day a week where they work from home. And then, obviously as needed, depending on the business, they're in the office. So I'm starting to see that kind of hybrid work happening. And because it's been so long with their systems in the office, they're upgrading and buying new hardware. So that's great. Now, a restaurant that I had not worked on in a long time, I just hadn't heard from them in a while, get a panic phone call. Their new POS system cannot communicate. Can't phone home. They can't process the credit cards. And they're having trouble. So my son went over, and luckily he keeps a lot of long cables in his car. The new POS system, wherever the old one was hooked up, something happened to the line that runs all the way through the basement to the back to where their router is, from where the front register is in the restaurant. So he luckily had a 50-foot cable and was able to run that. And also the router that was managing this needed to be reset and set up. And I think he had to put a switch, a dummy switch, to be able to get another port. So there was a couple things he had to do, and he was able to fix that all up. So that was really nice. Reprogrammed the switch, and then after the cable, got the POS system up and running. So that was wonderful. We've had a lot of little things like that. My son spent this morning at the rectory of a church for the pastor his laptop. He was cloning the drive and upgrading the system. We have 3 churches as clients, and we give them a reduced rate, and we've gotten some nice business there, some new systems, and certainly we don't make as much as we do on other clients, but it's nice, and we'll try to help anyone that comes to us for assistance. A link for tonight. First, I'm going to have a link to the site for the plugin, but another link, OneDrive icons. We had a call today, and what was interesting, I didn't know how to explain the icon that was two squiggly lines. I didn't know the exact meaning of that. And I was like, okay, there's got to be a nice reference for all of the different icons for OneDrive. So I have a link for that because I sent that to my client, and this is really good. Like if things are paused, what's the icon going to look like? Well, those two arrows, that means it's either stuck on processing changes or it is still due to sync. So it hasn't performed, hasn't finished its sync yet. Now, this always is kind of interesting. There's a green tick icon, and then there's a circle filled in green. Well, when you open an online only file, it downloads to your device and becomes a locally available file. Files that you mark as always keep on the device have the solid green with a checkbox. So this, if you use OneDrive at all, very nice getting updated on all of the different icons. So I thought I would share that since I had to make sure for a client. So now they understand, and my son and I understand. Going to cover some emails, and the first email is from Kate from Canada, and it's about Norton antivirus. I love the subject line. The subject line reads, Norton antivirus is completely off the rails. Hi, Mike. I don't know why anybody is still using Norton, but it appears that people are. Yes, they are, Kate. And I am exactly on board with her. I do not like Norton. Norton, she continues, Norton Antivirus LifeLock is the story of how you start off with a reasonably good product that addresses actual needs and over time turns into a bloated furball of a program that sucks the life out of the average person's computer, all the time stealing money by auto-renewing subscriptions and selling unwanted, unneeded upgrades, in my opinion. Now, she has a couple links that I'm going to have in the show notes. She continues, but this takes the cake. Norton antivirus is now a crypto miner? Wait, what? That is literally the title of the article. That it's like Norton antivirus is now a crypto miner. This is just the beginning of the article. You can't be serious. Norton 360, the somewhat frustrating antivirus software that comes pre-installed on many Windows computers, will soon have a built-in Ethereum crypto miner. In its press release, Norton LifeLock says that Norton Crypto will empower people to mine with a brand they trust instead of taking risks and running unvetted code on their computers. What? That I don't understand. That is a great example of going off the rails and just taking your product to an extreme, to doing things that you just shouldn't be doing. I wonder if they're going to rethink this, but you got to read this article and see the pictures of the screenshots of this, of Norton Crypto. Just another reason for me why I won't ever recommend or use it. And I try strongly to uninstall these. When we run into it, we convince our client to get a refund if they paid money, and we install something else. Now, this is her description. Here is a link to the most useful tool for Norton that I've ever seen, in my opinion. And it's a link from Bleeping Computer to download the Norton removal tool. Yes, that is I've used that many times for removing Norton when it's frustrating. And that doesn't always work. Sometimes you can't, it's just not, there are some versions and different combinations and instances of Norton that just refuse to go, and you have to resort to Revo uninstaller or something like that to be able to get rid of Norton, because I really believe it does slow down the computer. And I can't tell you how many systems we've been called in where there have been major infections and their primary antivirus is Norton. So I do not embrace Norton. If you disagree with me, please challenge me. If you are an MSP, anybody that does IT support, and you embrace Norton, convince me, prove it to me. Send me an email. I will read it. And I challenge anybody. I don't know everything. I'm not always 100% correct. This is my opinion, but boy, we have a lot of evidence for a lot of systems that we've ran into, and I know a lot of people that feel the same way I do on this. So, Kate, thank you. That was great. Brought a smile to my face, that email, and I wanted to share that with everybody. So now I have another email. This was sent a couple weeks ago, from John Dubinsky, who performs a review here of a mesh Asus system. And I want to read this email, and I will have an Amazon link to where you can try this out, purchase it if you would like. Hi, Mike. Reaching out as you unknowingly guided me to a great solution that I am really enjoying. If you allow me a minute, I think I have something that will work great for you in the future as well. My mission started when I found me Eero mesh Wi-Fi system both lacking in configurability and security. Being semi-retired, I lived with the fact that there was no console to log in, etc. What concerned me is that the system was really lacking on the security side. Running shieldtest.com and other tools revealed such issues. I decided I needed to find something more secure with the same kind of speed and performance without monthly costs, good for home users. I dug into all the mainstream mesh Wi-Fi vendors without success. I then recalled that in the past you have mentioned how you use Asus routers in AP mode. Yes, and I'm going to interject here. I am in roaming mode, and that's different than mesh. I found roaming mode, when you only have a couple and the area is not as great, like a big warehouse or manufacturing facility or a school or something. If you're just talking a couple units, or even 3 or 4, having the roaming turned on in the settings gives you better performance than a full mesh, the air mesh that Asus has, at least for the AC1900s that I use. So I wanted to interject that. So this leads me to Asus. He continues, I must admit that I did not like the solution you deployed, simply based on personal preference, and wanted a full mesh system. I don't know when you looked at that, John, but they do have full mesh now. What I found is something that I think you will find very interesting and perhaps a better tool than what you are currently deploying. I think the solution is so good for home deployment that I am taking the time to write you about it. I present the Asus ZenWiFi AX6600 XT8, a full router and mesh Wi-Fi system. The XT8 has all of the expected high-performance mesh features that you would expect. Full mesh, Wi-Fi 6, Now, right there, you have me on Wi-Fi 6. 5,500 square feet coverage with 2 units. You can add more as needed. A mobile app for control, Alexa integration, etc. This makes the unit very good. What excites me, and I think will you, is the following. The unit has a web interface for full IT configuration, VPN services with PPTP, OpenVPN, and IPsec VPN client and server. Very good QoS features, that's quality of service. An actual intrusion prevention system, including router security assessment, malicious site blocking, two-way IPS, virus scanning, and infected device prevention and blocking based on Trend Micro hardware-based, dual WAN capabilities, cellular backup capabilities. There's a lot of features right there that he's listing that is winning me over, that I got to check this out. Wireless mesh and intelligent mesh if you have one or more units hardwired. Fully supported with regular updates. In essence, this consumer unit is more business-like than a lot of business equipment I have used in the past. If you are already familiar with this, sorry to waste your time. No, I am not familiar with this, John, and thank you. If not, and you have any questions, I am happy to answer or jump on a call. All the best, John Dubinsky. John, who I know regularly listens to the show, thank you so much for sharing this with me, and I wanted to share it with all the listeners. What a great solution to try out. So that's something I'm looking here because I do want to play with Wi-Fi 6. I love that list of supported features, and there's a few that I would love to integrate here in my house. So what a great test bed. I'm probably going to get 2 of them, and then I'll report back later after using it. So I really thank you for that. Okay, final email for the night. This is great, and it's from Alan. He's like, Mike, customer says, hey, Alan, my PC just died and it's smoking. Hurry and come out as soon as possible. I've heard the so-called my PC is smoking rants before. Usually I find a dead power supply but no smoke. I get on site and right away I can smell that burnt smell from the hallway. Once I opened the PC, I found the following. The power supply and the insides of the PC were covered in black soot. From what I could tell, the power surge or whatever happened knocked out the power supply and bypassed the board and hit the DVD drive. I cleaned up the board, installed a new power supply and DVD drive. PC booted right up. I was shocked. The board was not damaged at all. I included a picture of the back of the DVD drive. First time I've ever seen a DVD drive get smoked. I thought you might find this interesting. Keep up the good work. And now for anybody watching on video, I am going to share that picture. That is unbelievable how it burned up the DVD drive. This reminds me of a story years and years ago when I first started messing with computers, and I had my 8088 clone, and we were just working with hard drives, and I was able to have this SCSI hard drive, and I plugged the SCSI cable incorrectly into the back of the drive. When I powered on, it burned the cable and shredded the cable, and I literally burnt my hand pulling the cable out of the computer and off the device. To make a long story short, the hard drive was fine. The cable was bad, and the SCSI card survived, but it literally, by reversing it and incorrectly installing the cable, it melted the cable. Thank God that's the only time I've ever seen that. And you don't learn until you mess up. Remember that, everybody listening. And, tell your children this and make sure they understand. You can make mistakes. This is how you learn. It's making sure you never do that again. So I know my limitations. And I've said this before. You see me with a soldering iron in my hand, run. It's not safe. I should not have a soldering iron in my hand. That's not what I do. I am not good at that. So you got to know your limitations. So assembling computers was always a challenge for me. I never liked that, and that's what, Carrie Holzman does a tremendous job with that. And that's why we get along, because we're sort of opposites on that. I don't like assembling machines because I've done some really stupid things that have been very bad in the past. And I used to assemble computers. Matter of fact, I had a computer store years ago in a past life where we built clones, and I, was doing pretty good. I always hated doing the motherboards, though, because that took time and patience, and I just didn't have that. So I wanted to share my story. Alan, thank you so much for that picture and for that email. I love that. And it also brings up some follow-up to some things that we ran into. I mentioned the double power outage that happened with our biggest client, a manufacturer. Well, there were a couple computers that there were things not being used on that computer since the power outage, and we still found more fallout. How about the NIC card on a motherboard? Shorted out. It's just the NIC doesn't work. Now, what we did, I also found one of the slots not working when I tried to put another LAN card in there. So we decided, and this was an Optiplex 990, and it's in the shop for recording data, where they can just do data input, so they don't need the newest, latest, greatest systems. As long as it's got a solid-state drive, 8 gig of RAM, and Windows 10, they're fine. So this Optiplex 990, I had an extra one laying around. We just took the hard drive out, popped it in that, put that back out into the shop. So that was fine. Today, I just received a serial card that one of the other computers, it controls a Motion Master Systems. They send the files via serial connection, literally an old style AB switch serial box, and the serial port on the system, that seems to have been hit. So we're going to try a serial card Monday morning because they don't have hours on Friday during the summer, and the cards just came in today. We just realized this on Tuesday, and I ordered a couple serial cards, actually 2 types from Amazon. So my son's Monday morning is going to go there first thing in the morning and hopefully get this up and running, because they need to talk to these other two computers through software. These two big manufacturing devices. When the machines that they're dealing with are bigger than the room that I'm in, just to give you an idea. So it always presents different challenges. They have lots of computers in the plant doing different things, communicating with the different equipment. And I really enjoy doing a lot of work for them. They've been a client for a long time, and I run into all sorts of problems. So anyway, I wanted to share that because, again, power related, and seeing the picture of that made me think of that. Can you put a UPS on every device? No, it's just not practical, and especially out in a manufacturing plant. So we deal with the problems when they hit, hope that they don't have the power outages that they do. We certainly are protected in the server room, the accounting office, production office. All of those systems are protected with UPSs, and they actually didn't completely survive. So everything. So having a UPS doesn't guarantee anything. It helps, but it's no guarantee. So that is it. A quick reminder, hopefully next Wednesday, there should be a Tech Vets with Carrie Holzman and I. Look for that like 8 p.m. Eastern time. At least that's what we're starting to plan right now. If you purchase anything from Amazon, please use the link that Carrie Holzman and I share. This will take you to Amazon. Your price stays the same, but now when you add items to your cart, we get a small commission and it adds up. Take that link, bookmark it, save it, and anytime you're going to Amazon, use that link. Carrie and I, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much for using that link. It makes a difference. That's one of the best ways you can show your support for the show. Fabs Auto Backup Pro. Few of you bought this last month. Thank you. I'm an affiliate, and we use this program all the time. We're going to be using this on Saturday for our project. This program allows you to copy all the settings and data from one system to another. Fabs Auto Backup. It is great. Please check it out. And, of course, we thank Instant House Call. Go to instanthousecall.com, download the trial, use the promo code MikeTechShow. That is it for tonight. Everybody have a great weekend, a safe weekend, and hopefully see you back here next week. Same time, same channel. Bye-bye, everybody.